Market conditions moving back to mildly bullish on a nice rally yesterday. Futures are a big pre-market this morning based on a Trump victory, and so it looks like we'll see some continuation back to the upside again here. We were starting to trend lower, stuck here. Momentum was starting to be range bound, and it actually bumped down over into that bearish trend for just a day yesterday, and we're seeing that support, that demand coming back into the market. At these levels, let's jump over and look at the buy-sell ratio. We did see that start to curl back together again. That moved it back to 0.83. So pushing back towards that equilibrium of 1. We'll see if today's action pushes us through back into a buy-sell ratio of 1. We're seeing that sentiment level bounce here right at 34 and heading back towards that 50 range currently. If we take a look at S&P 500, saw a nice bounce here at that 568,236 support area, and it had started to move into that potential downtrend structure and giving a confirmation move back again. This is where we want to start to see that activity. We want to see a reaction. We want to see demand at these levels where there should be demand starting to happen, and markets were more than likely waiting to see how this election was going to turn out, but it looks like we're going to see a real big move higher, gapping potentially back all the way up to these most recent highs this morning. If we jump over to the sectors, it started to show a little bit of strength again. Yesterday we were talking about all of the sectors that were in these hold ranges were sells, and even short-term downtrends were mostly down. We're starting to see so those come back to life obviously yesterday, and so some strength here again. We'll see if it continues to hold, and if we get breakouts and have this November-December rally, the timing is ideal for this to all happen currently for more bullish upside. SLV finding some support here right around this 29 range, and GLD also finding a little bit of support. Hasn't done a whole lot here in the last few days as everything's just kind of been in limbo. We'll see if we get some volatility back in the market now that we've got a little bit more clarity on the presidential election. USO finding some support here, bumping up above that 74 range, and as it's backing and filling and just keeps moving a little bit higher, these become support areas now, 72, 74, and we'll see if it continues to claw its way back higher or if it starts to reverse back down and find some additional support attempts at a lower level. Let's jump over to the muscle stocks group. In fact, before I do that, I always forget this, but I want to jump back to TLT. We saw a little bit of a move higher yesterday. Again, remember, as bonds are moving lower, interest rates are moving higher. So if we could see some bond getting some support and start to move back up, that's going to push that yield back down again, and we'll see if we get some movement in that market today as well. Muscle Stocks Group, the new buy list, top of the list here is EWTX. Nice confirmation bar already in that momentum zone, which is above, that's 236. And again, this is connecting your Fibonacci snap tool from the high point to the low point, and it is giving this confirmation bar. So some continuation is what we're looking for in momentum, and that's it's got a nice rank, and rank is primarily based on performance. So once you start to get some big moves, those will start to move to the top of the list. The second one I want to take a look at here is PSNL. This one has a really clean looking bullish pattern as far as a good solid confirmation bar with no wicks at the top or anything. Has been a big performer here as well, from $1 to $6. That's a huge move, and relatively quiet in the retracement right here. Not a lot of really big whippy. These kind of stocks work nicely for momentum. If it does start to shift right here, you're breaking out of some of these resistance areas. That's one of the things we want to wait for and watch for, is we want a little bit of confirmation. If we can get a close back above that base, when you start to get these counter trend bases, and then it starting to create that lower high, that gives us just enough confirmation to be able to allow for setting up a risk profile as well. We can place a stop at the low point here, or even place a stop at the low point here and watch it for confirmation. The only thing is it's not quite into momentum yet, but it's got these resistance areas it's playing with. If we could get another move higher, that's just going to add to the overall story on that stock. Relatively small market cap name. Sometimes those are they start to creep into this overall market trend at this phase, and that's what they look like. Be aware of PSNL. That'll do it for today's update. Everyone have a fantastic day today.